It felt like I had a target for predators on my back, saying, God abused her. I will never ever let any man touch me ever again for free. And I remember talking to God for the first time in a long time and saying, this is terrible. I was completely high for 7 days, but I could have died that day. My name is Ruth, and this is God in My Story.
Ruth,
Hey.
thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah. Now, I would love to know, I don't know that much about your story, so I'm excited for this. I love hearing people's testimonies of how God has worked in their lives. So how about you take us back to the beginning of your story? Did you grow up knowing who God was, or?
Yes, so I knew about God, but I did not know God.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a very strict religious family with who loved me so much that they wanted me to know, and my brother and my sister, they wanted me to know right from wrong, but from a perspective that if I don't, I will miss out on heaven.
Sure.
Right? So the idea of that I had of God was that there is this God that looked like a principal waiting for you to do something wrong so he can actually write it down and punish you for it and close the doors of heaven for you because you are naughty.
Yeah.
Basically. In the midst of it, there was huge contradictions personally. Why? Because while I was learning all the good things about God, I was also receiving a lot of abuse in every aspect of the word, be physical, be sexual, be emotional. And that confused me. That confused me, and as I grew up, I then became very rebellious against God. Even when I was little, I was always questioning God because the concept I had of him was very wrong. Yeah. The idea that I had of him was wrong. Now I know that it was wrong, but then my idea of God was that he was a very judgmental God and he was a hypocrite as well.
Yeah.
And I'm ashamed to say that, but I had these conversations with God for a long time. But as I grew up as well, going to church, participating in church on Sabbath, and I remember Sunday night and Wednesday nights we would go to church. And I was struggling with the abuse and hiding from everyone because I have realized that the devil has always wanted to take away my identity. From a very young age, he's always tried to take away my self-worth, has always tried to make me feel rejected, has always tried to make me feel dirty and ugly, and has always tried to put the blame of everything that was happening on me. So the shame, I lived it. The shame was placed on the wrong place. The shame was placed on me instead of those who were abusing me. Yeah, so that was my experience as a child with God. Although I have learned a lot of theory, and I'm thankful for it now because it's probably saved my life. I didn't understand God.
For sure, you're just a kid.
I grew up, and at the age of 16, it felt like I had a target for predators on my back, saying, God abused her. And I felt that it was me, it's my fault that everyone or several men that came across me saw me as a victim, not as a victim, as an object to abuse sexually. 16, 17, someone else abuses me, I fall pregnant. And these are older people, they are not people my age.
Were these people as well who were claiming to be Christians or claiming to love God, were they primarily the ones who were abusing?
Some.
Yeah.
I would say I had about 5 or 6 people that abused me.
Yeah.
Some were relatives that were Christian, and a lot of them were not. But as I grew up, I also grew up very confused because I didn't know my place in a normal social environment. I lost that ability to identify what is my role as a girl where there is boys around. So I kind of became very susceptible, very felt like I was already groomed to be a victim, so that the predators perhaps recognized that, but at the same time, the devil knows where to attack you from. And so I fell pregnant at 17. We were very poor in those days. The country was going through recession. I had no future. I had no means of studying or continuing studying. There was nothing for me in Peru. And I was pregnant and I was afraid to speak because obviously it's all my fault, and what are my family gonna say? What are my parents going to say? They are not going to believe me. Maybe one time that happens, it's okay, but then my goodness, how many times did it happen to me? It's my fault.
Yeah.
And so the last person that abused me in those days was someone with power who went to my parents to say, I'll employ her, being that she has nothing else to do. But he was not employing me. He was taking me to work just to abuse me. So then I fell pregnant. By the grace of God, I had an uncle and an auntie that came from Australia to Peru, saw our situation, saw there was not much future, and said, we want to give the opportunity to Ruth to come to Australia.
Wow.
We will pay for the tickets and the visa, and the rest is up to her. So I came here, and visa, tickets paid, but at the same time I had to study, I had to do something here, and I didn't speak English when I came.
And by this point, were you still pregnant by this point, or?
I was pregnant, and I did not know, or I disassociated so much that I was in complete denial.
Yeah.
So I came here, and I was here for a short time because the plan was to go to Fiji. And in my mind, I knew I was pregnant. But I was living as if that was not my reality. I was living a different reality completely. And that's what now with psychologists and psychiatric help, they say like that's disassociation, completely splitting my personalities and being one way, but reality is a different way. I was masking my reality.
Yeah.
I was wearing baggy clothes. I was feeling my child move in my womb, but I was blocking that from my conscious, I guess.
Yeah.
I was pretending to live a different life. I was making myself believe my lie, that's not real. And I was just not even...
So you weren't like counting the weeks?
Absolutely.
About how long
Actually, in those moments of kind of, light where I would start thinking, oh my goodness, please don't let this pregnancy end, because what am I going to do with this baby when my pregnancy ends? I haven't got the financial ability to take him with me. I don't speak the language. I don't know how I'm going to pay for a ticket or a visa for him to go to Australia. They will not let me. And then I'm going to go back to Peru, to poverty, and to my family with a baby. And how am I going to even pay my ticket to go back to Peru? It was just a mess. I wasn't thinking right. I was just living one day at a time. I had to give him for adoption. I gave him for adoption to a family that looked after him, and that's a story on its own. A lot of tragedy did happen to that child. When he was 14, I finally found him, but both adoptive parents had passed away. there has been a lot of miracles that God have made happen that allowed me to bring him to Australia as my son without any documentations that prove that he is mine.
Yeah.
But that's the Lord opening doors as well. But my
and
son
is that your 20-year-old son who's here now?
He's 27 now. 27, 20. Yeah. But unfortunately, he was very traumatized. And when I found him, I wasn't ready to actually face the challenges that with him that he had to face. He was already involved in drugs. He was already having psychosocial problems, psychiatric problems. At this point, I'm not in touch with him. He's not in touch with me. But at the same time, a lot of the decisions he's made are his choice, and I have to honor him for and respect that, and keep praying him up. Keep praying him up. After that, I had him. I found him. I brought him, and all that. But I was left a mess. I was left a mess psychologically. I was left a mess spiritually, physically, mentally. Came back to Australia, got married here, and then divorced. Because when I got married, I really got married in a very traumatized state of mind.
Yeah.
And when God is not in the middle of a marriage, the marriage fails.
Yeah.
It definitely does. And so...
So did you have, if we just rewind a little bit, it sounds like you had people who were looking after you, who were bringing you to Australia, who were supporting you and loving you, but then you also had all these people growing up who told you one thing and then acted very differently. And, people who were supposed to love you, but then they abuse you and all sorts of things. Were you very confused, and did you find it hard to trust people?
Yeah, absolutely. I was confused, and when you say it was hard to trust people, it was perhaps, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not necessarily that I didn't trust. I would just kind of end up saying, okay, whatever happens to me will happen to me. That's the attitude I grew up with. And that's how I grew up. Whatever happens, happens. And I was always ready for something bad to happen to me.
Yeah.
And always living on survival mode. But by the grace of God, I did have a lot of good people in my life. I did have a lot of people that did see potential in me, even when I didn't see that potential in myself. Yes. And so I started living my life as a married person until my marriage failed. My husband left. I was a single mother of my 3 kids. And I just crushed. I just reached breaking point, and I said, I cannot believe this is happening to me. I cannot believe I am being used again by a man. I cannot believe how bad my life is. I am sick of everything that's happened to me. I am sick of this trauma. I am divorced now. I will never ever let any man touch me ever again for free. So I went and started navigating the adult industry. And I got into it and started experimenting with drugs, started numbing myself with drugs because it was easier to perhaps be high, to do a lot of the things that I've done, and it was easier to numb the pain that I was also feeling.
So that wasn't necessarily a choice because you needed financial stability, or was the reason it was an emotional numbing?
It was both.
Okay.
It was both, because being a single parent, I don't have a profession here. I don't have a stable job. I have 3 children to look after. It was both. And I'm trying to how am I going to accommodate my working time with that. But at the same time, I was angry and rebellious. And when you are angry and rebellious and full of hatred and on that victim mode, the devil puts a lot of ideas in your head. Oh, resentment is the biggest doorway to whatever attack the devil has for you.
Yeah.
So I went, and all these little ideas came to my head, and then I went, and because I am who I am, I need to action them. And I went to action them, and renouncing God altogether, rejecting God altogether, until one day I am here with these people who are feeding me rocks of ice. And so while they were feeding me rocks of ice, it was like Satan himself was talking to me, telling me everything I knew that I was, and the worst things ever. God knows who I was mingling with.
Yeah.
Because I've never purchased one bit of drugs. It was always given to me in quantities for the whole night to be there, or sometimes for days.
Yeah.
I never had to pay once for that. The devil just put it there for me. And so at one point after that, they dropped me off to where I was working from. And I get in there, and they put me in a very dark room because I was in a bad way. And it was so dark, and I remember talking to God for the first time in a long time and saying, this is terrible. You know, if you are there and you show me a different way, and if you just take me out of what I'm feeling right now, I'll go to church again. So I was standing up, and then there is a light and the voice that tells me, hold on to the wall. I hold on, and then I start seizuring. And it was like electricity was shooting through my brain. And if I did not hold on, it was pitch dark. I didn't know that room, and I didn't know, but it led me to a column to hold on. If I fell back, there was a ledge of concrete I could have hit my head on. I could have died that day. And then after that, I was completely high for 7 days, but I had to go back home. But I said, oh, please, you know, in my mind, my crazy mind, I said, please, well, God, you saved me from that one. If you take me safely home, because I was driving, if you take me safely home, I'll go to church. I get home, 7 days straight, no food, perhaps a bit of sips of water because I wasn't hungry, nothing, dehydrated, going into hysteria, going into panic attacks, you know, and then in those moments, God gives you some light, some clarity that actually makes you cry out to Him. And He honors those prayers. And so He's saved me from that. Now it's my time to kind of meet my promise, you know, like make sure that I have the integrity to do what I said I was going to do.
What was your perception of God by this point? Because I assume you would have been quite angry at Him, but...
Yeah, I was angry, but I knew that He had powers.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And if He wanted to, He could also just, you know, show me Himself. And I knew stories of the Bible. I knew that people prayed to Him and He did things for them. I knew a lot of good stories that sometimes due to trauma you forget. I tend to forget. I used to forget. But
did you think He was a loving God, or
before?
Like during this kind of period?
No.
Did you? Yeah.
No, I didn't. I just thought that it was okay. I'll give you this chance now.
Yeah.
Kind of that way. That was my understanding. All right, then let's give you one more chance.
Bargaining.
and let's see how you behave. And you know, that's why I was bargaining with him, like, okay, I'll go. And then perhaps that fear of him giving me consequences made me go and fulfill my promise of going to a church. But I was too embarrassed to go to a church that is more traditional.
Yeah.
So I remember church in the fields, in Macquarie Field, and it's a community hall. And I just showed up there. And the fact that no one looked at me twice because I had all these extensions and like matted hair, and I was already, after 1 week of being sick with the drugs, I went in and they were very welcoming. When I went to that church, I heard someone speaking about pathways. Pathways, she explained, is a set of prayers that allows you, with the support of prayer warriors, allows you to bring everything to God in every aspect. And then they go through a list of what you might need to disclose to God and give it to Him. And the biggest part of it is forgiveness. You gotta list every single one of the people that you remember from your childhood that have hurt you. You have to give it to God and say, God, I choose to forgive this person because they did this to me. It made me feel this. I give these feelings to you, and I ask you to take it and deal with it the way you want to, because you're a God of justice and love, and replace them feelings with the fruits of the Holy Spirit. For each name, I had to do that, including for my abusers. And I realized that forgiveness is a choice. It doesn't come naturally. It is a choice, and it is a choice to actually stop dragging them with you through your life. The prayer of forgiveness actually validated my feelings, not by the perpetrators or by those who have offended me, but it validated my feelings by God. God validated my feelings. Yeah. Because while they're doing those prayers, they're reading, we're backing it up, because God says in this Bible verse that all your little tears, He's collecting them in a little jar, and it's like, wow, and this Bible verse says and it was so beautiful because truth was being fed to me, because all I knew were lies of the devil, that he was feeding me about God's character. Yeah. And he was disarming me of God because of my lack of knowledge. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Very true. And so every time I would forgive, it would feel lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. After, and this is perhaps a month, but I was still doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing. But I was going to do the wrong thing, and I was putting gospel music on. And I said, God, I can't stop. But it's your job to stop me. I'm giving you that permission and that control. Because I've tried to be good my whole life, and I can't. So come with me. I'll invite you. Come. I'm taking him to the no good places. And if you are omnipresent, what is this to you? Right? Come, praying all the way, until one time I was doing a service and I just stopped and I got off, took off, and ran away. Okay. And no matter how much I tried to come back, because I was poor, I didn't have money, my rent was behind, my kids needed clothes, my food was, I was eating noodles and my kids were eating noodles, and it's like, I couldn't. One time I said, that's enough, I can't do this anymore, I'm poor, I'm behind. Oh, I lost my license because I couldn't pay my registration. I couldn't pay. Oh, it was a mess. And I was more angry with God because it's like, I'm trying to come to you and look at you, right? Anyway, one time I said, I can't live with no money anymore. I can't live with no money. I have to do something about it. And so I prepare my bag, my things, and I go to my bedside table to grab my phone, and a force just starts pushing me from my sitting position, pushing me to go, and another one pushes my shoulders to stay. And I just, with all my strength, text this person, this prayer warrior, saying, please, I have a huge fight, pray for me. As soon as the text message, and the thing is that whenever I said that, she would text everybody else, pray for Ruth.
Pray.
Yeah. So there was a chain of prayer happening straight away. And then praying. As soon as she said praying, the force that was pushing me to get up left, and that force that pushed me to stay back stayed.
Wow.
And it was impossible to go back. Even if I wanted. Why? Because I told God, I can't do it. You do it. You fight my war.
Yeah.
It is yours. I can't do it. And I'm like, that's the secret.
Yeah.
That's the secret. And so it's like he wants to fight my war. Like, what is this? You know, it was so confusing for me because I'm like, this is a different type of God. I don't know this God, you know? Anyway, I couldn't take the drugs. I couldn't do nothing. And the withdrawals were horrendous.
Yeah.
Blinding migraines. I couldn't even function. And then this morning I had $30 in my wallet. And I always wrote letters to God, insulting him.
Insulting him.
Yeah. I was like, you are this and this and that. Look at me. You are doing this to me, and I am trying to get your help and that. Oh, what a brat. Insulting him. If you are there, God, you should be doing something to kind of show yourself to me. You've never heard me. And so I've got $30 here, and then I need to go and do something about these migraines. And I go to the bus stop because I don't have a car, I don't have money to pay my rego. And so I'm sitting down at the bus stop writing this letter to God again, you know, insulting him. And the last thing I say to him is like, if you are there, if you are real, hear me, because you never heard me. From my childhood to now, you never heard me. Hear me. I go in, and I went to the shopping center, to the massage place, and I thought in my head that candling, I don't know if you know what candling is, they pour wax, something, heat, and then it pops and whatever. It's supposed to take pressure off your head. I was desperate. I couldn't function with my migraines. Anyway, I go into this little room, and the man says, okay, no worries, just lay down, I'll go prepare everything and I'll come back. No worries, I'm laying down, and in this little room, this presence fills it. I don't know if you heard a thunderstorm that makes it shake, that the room shakes. And lightning and thunderstorm that makes the room shake. I'm sure the room wasn't shaking, but it was like, that's what I felt. The room shake, and I don't know if you heard a lion roar so loud that everything shakes as well. And with like a lion, it sounded so loud, and it came from my left ear and hit here. Such a sweet voice that said, I heard you. I got up to see who's talking to me. My senses didn't know, but my body knew. because from my pinky toe to even my hair, I don't know how to explain this, I felt love. I felt like this little baby wrapped and secure in love. And I'm like, oh, the joy. I knew that was love. Love that I have never felt before. I knew that was real love. No one told me, I knew it. My body, my system, my organs, my brain, everything knew that its creator was talking. And so I didn't know what happened. Like I couldn't make sense of it, but that's the experience. And then from that moment on, every side effect, every withdrawal symptom disappeared to this day. On the spot.
Crazy.
To this day. And then I was like, wow. I thought this must be the constant feeling of how heaven will feel. And I am so afraid to miss out. Not because God will shut the doors. It humbled me because He has come to my level. I felt so small that He would even think of me to make me hear His voice. Who am I? I felt so humbled. I felt so loved that I recognized that everything that I knew about God was so wrong. This is my God. This is my God that broke through all satanic powers to just rescue me. One person, and a very insignificant one. And so I just said, well, okay, what now? Here I am, broken, empty, but now I know the key. And the key is to just tell you, you do it, use me. You do it, just show me. Like a baby.
Yeah.
Like a baby. And I'm like, what a relief. What a freedom.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a freedom. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that it's not up to me anymore. I'm so happy that the choice is not mine anymore. The only choice I have to make is say yes to Him every morning, every single day of the week, every single night of the week, because salvation is daily. Either I choose to actually receive the blessing that the Lord has for me every day, or the curse of Satan that has also prepared for me every day. You know, so it's just so easy, and He's so willing. I took one little step and He ran. He ran for me.
He heard you.
He heard me. So here I am, like, okay, what now? I haven't got a job. Everything that I know to do, I can't do now because you don't let me.
And you're in Australia.
I'm in Australia with 3 little ones. I just, honestly, I went and dropped like 1,000 resumes. In those days you had to print, and then emails were just happening and sending them, not one single phone call. And one day I come after in the afternoon, and then I realized there's a nursing home at the top of my house. There's a hill, and I have to walk like half an hour to get there. And I haven't got experience. And I arrived with my tracksuit pants, with a t-shirt, with my, hair sweaty, middle of summer. I arrived there with a little paper with my resume, and I got to the reception. I arrived there and said, hey, I'm wondering if I can leave my resume, and maybe you can call me if you need someone to come and help here for whatever. Yeah, no worry. By the way, they're actually interviewing now. And I'm like, so I can go? Yeah, just go. Okay, so then I go and say, can I borrow a bathroom so I can freshen up a little bit, maybe tidy myself up? Yeah, no worries, no worries. And then she's like, yeah, and then once you're done, go to the third floor. I go, and then there's this little room and all these ladies waiting, well dressed and everything, you know, ready for an interview. And here I show up and I'm last to be seen. And they say, what's your availability? Training is provided. It's okay, as long as you have the willingness to. We are short-staffed, especially on the weekends. And then I say, no worries, no worries. Weekends and night shifts, they say. Yeah, no worries, okay. Happy to work. Okay, 4 o'clock that afternoon. You got the job. Are you able to start straight away? Mind you, weekends and nights are where I make more money doing the wrong thing. And God even protected me from that. I worked there. The Lord has opened that door for me to start looking at the necessity in the community, at the needs of the elderly, at the needs of the disabled, at the needs of people who have never heard of God. I have been able to pray for people who are in the last breath of life. I remember this beautiful lady who was always angry, and I say, hey, how are you? Hey, do you know Jesus? Yeah, I don't know Jesus. I don't want to know. Don't talk to me about your Jesus. Okay. And then I was privileged enough to have her with me when she was dying. And then I said, all of a sudden she was having breakfast, and then she finished, we were changing her, and then she started to have a stroke. And I said, can I please pray for you? You want to accept Jesus in your heart? And she goes, yes. And to say that prayer before she passes was powerful, very special. And a lot of experiences like that that started to make me realize that I have a purpose in this life. Moving forward, I did study a little bit, and then I said to God, I don't want to be an employee anymore. You've been blessing me, and thank you so much, but I want to be something else. I want to, create a long-lasting positive impact in the community. And there is a lot of need out there. I want you to put my foot in people's houses. Not that I have to go knock the door, but put my foot in people's houses, and then I'll pray them up. I don't know how much time we have, but it's just crazy because at the same time, my habits with men were the same as before, in a sense that I didn't know where my place was when it comes to a man wanting to be with me. Right? And God was teaching me. And I used to fall for the wrong persons all the time. I did fall for the wrong persons, whoever, so that gave me a bit of attention, or whoever showed me that, made me feel wanted. I would fall for that person regardless of who they were. And I always felt that need of filling that gap of a man in my life. And so
God did some things instantly for you, and then some things you had to learn.
Absolutely. When the time was right, the Lord had to show me. He was showing me always, but He was very gentle. He was gentle. Whatever was priority, He made it happen. And there was so much that I was carrying, but that came from childhood when it comes to men was really deep rooted. We live in a society where self, self-power, your inner self. I'm scared of my inner self. Give yourself some credit. Like I was saying, the only credit I can give myself all is to actually give that step forward towards God and opening myself to Him. That's the only thing that I'm proud of right now. And I don't even think that was me doing it. It was the Holy Spirit, and I think it's also the prayers of those family members and friends and that actually opened up that doorway for me to be able to receive that. But the fact is that I am afraid to take credit of anything. God is my everything. God has done all of it. And the freedom that I feel because of that is amazing, because all I have to do is say, Lord, this is the plan. If it's your will, it will happen. It will come to fruition. If it's not of you, it won't, and I don't take it personally. There is a lot of times that I have made decisions without that type of consultation, that God ended up making things work, but it becomes much harder sometimes. You know, you go all the way around and around, and then fail up and down, and then okay, that's your solution. But if you went and if I went to God first to show him first prior to my pride taking over, things usually work out for the better, always. Yeah. But I live in freedom. I live in freedom, and I live without fear. And that makes me happy, because I know that my life is in his hands. The control of everything is in his hands. And I trust him like a little child. I just, okay, Lord, you know, I trust him, and I love that. I love that I trust him. There's a lot of bad things that happened since I met the Lord, but I trust him in the bad. I trust him in the good. And I'm glad that he's with me, even when I'm not with him sometimes. Yeah. You know, when I fail and forget, but then my fear is that, you know, one day I will forget, because some of us humans, we have such short-term memory. We forget so easily. Forget so easy. Yeah, we do. Yeah. But I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that he is so faithful and so loving. Yeah. And one step towards him is all it takes. That's it. That's it. All credit to the Lord. All credit to the Lord.
All credit to the Lord.
Credit to me is too heavy. I'm scared of myself. Yeah. It's too heavy. It's heavy. It's a heavy burden to carry.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
It's crazy what God has done in your life. How he's transformed it. How he's transformed your mind.
Yes, absolutely.
Incredible. I'm speechless.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope it's a blessing to others.